So, being that you've worked on so many Grammy award winnings or nominated and just massive hits, can you tell when a song comes on? You know, you get sent the song from any artist. You're like, this is gonna be a hit, or can is it still sometimes surprise you the way the music industry works?
So, a lot of times, like if I work with like a decent artist or like I just, like somebody who's famous or whatever, and they bring me the single, I can say like right away, oh my God, this is going to be massive. This is just amazing. And like, this is going to be big. But I mean, I've worked with people where I'm like, this is the worst record ever. And it goes to number one for like, I can't tell you how long,
Uh-huh.
like I can't always tell, but I think now at this point in my life, I have a pretty good barometer for what's going to be a hit.
Uh-huh. What do you typically see as a hit? Like, what are some of those tracks? Not specific tracks, but what are some of those features on a track?
It's just like lyrically, if like if all of a sudden I'm working and I get lost in the lyrics and I'm like finding myself like emotionally attached to what they're saying, like for me that's a dead giveaway. Like it could be anybody. Like I remember working on a Halsey record one time, and do I look like a Halsey fan? No, but like lyrically, this one record, this song Sorry just had me like, like I was like caught up in it, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
That's
So
fascinating.
yeah, it's just, like as a music fan, you still listen to this stuff, and if it hits you emotionally, that's like a good sign.
100%. And being that you've worked on, as your career has gone, I'm curious, have you how have you, if you have, dealt with the increased pressure of like, okay, I know I'm working on a Halsey track, I know this is going on the radio. Is there an increased level of pressure, that you feel because it's such a big artist, rather than something that might not be heard because it's some indie artist? Or and how if so, how did you deal with that?
No, I mean, I always feel pressure working with like big artists because I want to make them happy. This is a service industry, and they're coming
Mm,
to me to do a service that there is no like there's no room for error. There's no like, oh, maybe I had a bad day. Like you really have to focus on what you're doing and try and give them the best record. And if I work with somebody, like a big mixer, like I'll just say Serban or Manny or Tony Maserati or Josh Goodwin, any of those guys, like I know the mix is going to be really good. And if I work with like somebody I've never heard of that's getting their first chance to work with a big artist, I'm worried about what they're going to tell me with feedback. And if the I've worked with big artists where the record just didn't sound good for
mm-hmm.
it had nothing to do with the mixer, it had to do with the production and the artist's new direction and things like that. And you get worried that like, man, this isn't like what I was expecting, or like it's not as good as I thought it was going to be, and really need to like put something extra into this to get it to sound good.
No,
So
yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
the pressure never goes away with big artists.
How do you manage it though? You just kind of push through it. Is there anything you tell
Yeah, I
yourself?
mean, yeah, I mean, I've worked with Madonna a bunch of times, and she's come in, and it's like it's Madonna. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is no like, you never get old. Like there's artists that come in here, and there's never a point where you're like, oh, whatever. It's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
and so or whatever. It's like they're big artists. They're like international artists that have sold millions and millions of records, and there are people standing outside in the street waiting for them to come outside, and you're kind of like, damn, like,
Yeah.
you know.